here today. I appreciate it to come talk about what we've been doing up in northeast Iowa with our streams. I've had quite a few years to work on them. I'm the supervisor up there, and I've got a great staff up there that's done a lot of good work on our streams, and hopefully I can provide you guys some information that will help you in the future with making decisions. So why do we want to work on rivers and streams? It's because it's a diverse and dynamic part of the landscape. There's a lot of environmental benefits that can come from restoring rivers. It affects those downstream and even upstream in some cases. And there's one in everybody's backyard. We have over 26,000 miles of perennial rivers and streams in Iowa. And so there's one within 20 miles of basically everybody. So it really affects everybody out there. When you have really good water quality and good habitat, you have healthy aquatic communities. And I work for the Fisheries Bureau as a honor, and my job is to make fishing better. So we want to see better water quality out there in order for these critters to live in and then have a place to live and have healthy aquatic communities, because in turn, people want to use that resource when it's healthy and nice. They go visit these areas, they go fishing, they go hunting and do all kinds of things. And everybody benefits. It's almost like a quality of life issue. You know, we have good rivers and streams. Everybody seems to be happy. So in order to do river and stream restoration, it's got to have all the right ingredients. And we're working with our conservation partners, us in fisheries, with private landowners, with county conservation boards, with Iowa Department of Ag and Land Stewardship, the NRCS, all the different partners, because we can't do it ourselves, you know, because it includes watershed work. And we're some fisheries are mainly focused on fish, but we need to work in the watershed because we know that's what matters. Providing floodplain connectivity for those rivers to flood out into and reduce their impacts, stabilizing stream banks to minimize erosion to our streams, providing extreme habitat for the fish and the other critters out there, and then even modification of dam removal so those animals can move up and down the rivers and have a greater area that do their life requisites in. But the thing about it is each one will work independently of each other, but the longevity and success of the program is dependent upon each other. We can go out and put fish habitat in the stream, and in 2 days, even less, have fish in it, but it doesn't last very long. It only lasts 5-6 years, but in areas where we've done the watershed work, we've done the stream bank stabilization, we've done all the good things, we can have it last a long time. So there's a lot of different components of a quality stream in Iowa, and I'm not going to bother you with that. But the point being here, there's a lot of science behind what it takes to have a quality stream. And we use that science and mimic properly working streams to help guide us in our restoration efforts. And we have some success stories with things that we've worked on. Sometimes factors are beyond our control, that we can't change the geology of the climate, things like that on our rivers, but we take that into effect. And then there are things that we can control, such as what's listed there. But the main point is we do our background work, we look at aerial photos, we work within the constraints of the area that we're in, and do what we can to improve that resource. For example, here, each situation is different, and here we have an example of a habitat and a bank sloping and stabilization project that was done on the Coconut River. And this was done to help the landowner protect his crop field, which you can kind of see in the upper right corner over there. It was before planting season, so you can't see anything, but because rock is really expensive, we were only able to do about 300 foot of stream on there, but we were able to get in the habitat. We got the locked logs and the root wads tied into the bank. Those go in 10 or 15 foot so they're not washed out, and the toe is protected, things like that. So we can work on our larger rivers. We know we can do that and do good work. But there are some situations where we have less expensive but equally successful alternatives to help provide bank stabilization in extreme habitat. And this is an example of that, where we rock the toe and put in lock logs and root wads down at the bank full height. You know, that's a little deceiving because this spot right here is about 10 foot high. That's 10 foot high off the water. And then the rest of that's another 30 or 40 feet. But effectively taking the energy out of the water when it's at bank full, and then when it slows down, it can go over the top of that and flow over those willows and not cut off the
Like, where is that? Where is it?
I'm not sure where this is. I believe it's on the coast. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to stop. This is a quick example of a restoration project we did in northeast Iowa, Butte County. It's Swiss Valley Creek. Some folks know it as Catfish Creek. Basically, if you look where the yellow arrow is, there's a silo in the background with the nature center. So for a point of reference, this is before the stream work was done. You got a very steep, highly eroding bank. When the water comes up, it cuts into that. It can't go anywhere else. So what we do is we shape the banks, we slope it back, provide some tow rock, there's bank hides, tying in some of them logs, and we'll only riprap up the toe, maybe 3 or 4 foot, and then seed it. And this is what the finished product looks like. It's really nice, and when that water comes up, it dissipates its energy as it flows nice and evenly up those sloped banks, and the grass slows it down, traps the sediment. It slows down the water from coming overland, catches the sediment and nutrients as it's coming into the water, and provides excellent habitat. I know this looks pretty steep here, but actually that's a 4-to-1 slope. It's fairly flat. This is Dan Kirby, our biologist's head, just sticking out of the vegetation, and that's how good the vegetation comes in. When it's seeded with native seeding, so we're not only slowing that water down, but stabilizing that bank with that vegetation. So some of the benefits, why do we really want to go through all this work and do this? Studies have shown that we can improve water quality by slowing down the nutrients and sediment into the rivers by doing the work within the watershed and the stream bank. We get improved habitat for the rivers, clean substrate for spawning and for invertebrates to grow on, so they got cover, the fish got cover to feed and protection from predators. It reduces flooding impacts because we're slowing that water down, providing a floodplain. The graph on the left is a graph where the water shows what we have and what we want to do. We actually engineer this stuff. This is the original bank, and then this is what we want to take it to, so when that water comes up so high, it can spread out. It loses all its energy, then it just flows down, and this is the kind of peak you get. Instead of this high flashy stuff up and down, you get a nice slow rise and a slow decline, and it minimizes erosion and property damage, not only at the site but downstream as well. Through cooperation with our conservation partners, we get better fishing out there. An example of this is one of our trout streams where we have natural reproduction going on now. We've got had 5 streams in the 1980s that had natural reproduction. We're up to 30 streams that are self-sufficient, and another 35 with inconsistent reproduction. So we're getting better. We have more fish available to the anglers out there. We can improve, once we improve the stream, we can stock our fingerlings. 2-3 years, we don't have to stock anymore. We go from 0 fish to over 2,000 fish per mile because the improvements that have been done within the watershed and in the stream. And what that does is it allows us to spend our money more wisely in the DNR. We don't have to stock fish all the time. We can take those efforts and put them somewhere else. And overall, we have a healthier, more diverse system out there. And once we improve that stream, we have increased use. Our anglers use it. For example, that Swiss Valley stream in 2006 ranked 21st in our trout angler survey. And Fish and Wildlife survey estimated that anglers spend about $46.50 per trip. So on the average, anglers are spending in the area about $500,000. Well, we made these improvements to the watershed and to the stream, and in 2011 it ranked fourth, doubled the use. So we're increasing the use on our streams by making these improvements out there. And almost $1 million is spent out there. So you can see just with doing improvements, that's just fishing. That's not the other uses that people do on our waterways out there, whether it be doing bird watching, playing, boating, swimming, catching frogs, or whatever. Iowa State University has done quite a bit of work on that, other uses too, and I think Nate's going to talk a little bit more about the evaluation on some of those other things, but basically that's an example of why we want to do this type of work in Iowa to help improve our resources, and I think we have the means in hand to do it, and we can show that we have success with that. I'll take any questions. It's time to ask. And I'll be around most of the day too if you have other questions that come up as well. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. You do a stabilization like that, we can talk a little bit about cost. How does a project like that run through to stabilize things like that? I suppose it depends on how many feet, but
It
like
does.
per square yard.
How many feet, how high up, and what the rest of the water is like.
But you could sink several thousand in that per year.
Oh yeah, very easy. You know, like I said, rock is expensive, so we're looking at alternatives, doing a lot less rock and doing more of the sloping back to decrease that energy of the water.
And we put those willows in there, they grow like weeds, so.
Yes, they do. And then they draw beavers. But I think that's less than, or it's not as bad of an alternative.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Is it, you use rock and the willows, is there any other, what else do you use for products to stabilize things?
Well, we can use matting. Willows are cheap and easy, but you can use matting and seeding if you can't. Like now, we've got projects going on right now that just finished up before the hard freeze. If you just seeded up on Waterloo Creek, seeded it, and with Trout Unlimited and some of the other fishing groups came out and helped us lay matting down to help protect that until the seeding can get grown and stabilize that soil. But it really depends on the situation. Sometimes you don't even need rock. All it needs is the bank slope back and shape. And we can use in-channel structures, whether they be vortex weirs or to train, to guide the water's energy into the places we want it to go. And I just kind of gave you a quick and dirty one here because we've got a lot of different techniques that we can use, whether they're wing dams similar to these on the river, only on a smaller scale, or the rock arch rapids, or there's a lot of different things.
Thank you. Mike, what is that 47, I mean, 4650? Where does that figure come from?
That figure comes from Fish and Wildlife Survey.
That seems way low to me.
Well, it is. There's other reports out there. Trout Unlimited did a study of just the driftless area anglers because they travel a lot further. They spend almost $200, $208, I believe, per trip. Whereas this is all fishing. So it includes the guy that's going out worm dunking, and it also includes the bass fishermen with the big rigs. And so it's an average of what people spend.
Right, well, we don't have trout much in Iowa, and I know people who go to Northeast Iowa, trout fishing, 4650, who attend to gas.
Right.
Just kidding.
It's less than a
Yeah, and anyway, I just was wondering, did that come out of Iowa State? Or?
No, that's
Just
the
out of
U.S. Fish and Wildlife. They do
Wildlife.
survey every 5 years as well.
Okay, thank you.
And I can provide you with a reference to that.
Senator Dodd?
No, thanks, Mr. Chair. A couple of quick questions. How do you choose where you restore a stream? Who gets their stream bank restored?
Well, Right now, we look at things based upon the resources that are around the area, where we can come up with money, working with our partners to work in the watershed, because rivers are a little bit different than publicly owned lake. We may own the river, but we don't necessarily own the property, so we have to have willing landowners to work on the watershed work within those areas, and so working with our DCs within the different counties and what fisheries improvements we prioritize within our district determines where we go and whether or not we'll have success.
Are you using a DNR focused approach, or is it a request from landowners mainly?
It's usually our approach. The biologists, they know what they have for their resources. Their job is to go out and sample all the waters and know what we have for fish and populations within the area and where we need to make improvements or where we can make improvements and have the best chance of spending our dollars wisely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.